The Emove Cruiser, which is known for one of the best range per dollar scooters, got a huge upgrade. And it's not what you think. If you're thinking that it got more range, this still has the same range rating as the previous model of 62 miles. So what exactly did they upgrade? That's what I'm gonna be focusing on in the review. But before I get into all that stuff, I gotta stop and walk around this and show you what this has to offer. And this is the perfect place to do just that. And starting from top to bottom, you got lock-on grips. There's 2 control panels. This is the main one, power mode, plus and minus. There's 3 speed modes. If you hit the power button, that changes the readout on the bottom. If you hit the M button, that changes the main display. So you got average speed, max speed, regular speed. That's a fast button. Below that are the lights. That's the headlights. Green when it's on. You got a very bright headlight. Then there's turn signals. Nothing blinking up front, but in the rear, it blinks down the entire side of the tail light. And it's very visible and bright. Even in the daylight, you can see how that's reflecting off the ground. And you do have to hit that again to turn them off. Below that's the horn. Woo! Which is very loud, especially when you're in a confined area. Ha! And then on the right side, you have a push thumb throttle. In front of the handlebars, all the wiring is wrapped with this honeycomb wrap, they call it. Then you got some cheaper end brake levers. The right lever engages the front brake. When you hit either lever, the taillight does flare up. Again, look how bright that is. Moving down the stem, you have Emove Cruiser V2, just simplistic and clean, and that's gonna match the Emove on the deck. The folding lever looks all transformy. It's actually huge. I mean, look at how big that is compared to my hand. Below that, you have a fender. It's aluminum, suspension on each side. A 10-inch air-filled tire that's a mix between off-road and road. And then as far as brakes up front, you have a Zoom X-Tech disc brake with a 160mm rotor. Moving back, there's the charge port, which is center mass, quick, easy access. There's a huge deck. That's one of my favorite features about the Emove Cruiser is just how big the deck is. So yeah, that's good stuff. Moving back, there's the fin. It's a pretty steep angle from the deck. Not the most comfortable to use. For the rear tire, you have dual spring suspension, just like the front. And then in the hub is a 1,000-watt motor. Well, there's the quick and fast overview. Now I want to talk about the upgrades. Here we go. I want to start out by talking about the only upgrade that I didn't like, and that is the price. The old model was $1,300. This one is $1,500. But like the old one, they offer this in 4 colors. The first big difference between the two is the weight. The old model weighed 56 pounds. This one weighs, 74. But it can carry a heavier rider at 352 pounds. This also has a larger rider size because you can adjust the stem up higher. If I undo this quick release, you can pull this up pretty dang high. Boom, 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 boom. That is up there a ways. I'm a 5'11" guy, and these are coming up to the bottom of my chest. These guys were feeling good when they designed this. Maybe a little high, if you get what I'm saying. Boom, 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 boom. The next upgrade they did, the folding mechanism. And they say this has 3 points of protection. The first one is you pushed here, second is you pull, and the third is, I don't know where the third's at because I just folded after 2. Did I do it wrong? Now when it's folded, you can actually carry this with the stem, and then to unlock it, you have to pull upon this lever, and then it will move forward. Push this back in, and we have the triple protection locking mechanism fully engaged. One of my favorite upgrades is the complete plug-and-play system. Is if anything goes bad, all you have to do is just take this piece off, and all of those are just plug and play. So you just unplug it, unscrew it, throw it away, get a new one, which these guys sell everything that you need to do that. Anyways, you plug it back in, cover this back up, and you're good to go. The other plug and play is here in the motor. Now on the other side of the handlebars, I want to talk about a few upgrades here. And the first one are the grips. Those are the same grips they have on the Wolf King GT. But one of the biggest upgrades on the handlebars is the LCD screen. The old model just had the trigger style shifter that had the LCD screen built into the system. This is just beautiful, it's big, it's bright, and just gives a whole, I don't know, higher end vibe and feel to the scooter. Now there are a few things you can change in the advanced settings, and to get there, just double tap the M button. P1 is the screen brightness. P2 is a sleep timer. If you leave the scooter on, it'll shut off automatically. And then in P3, you can change the units from kilometers to miles per hour. Now in the rear, where the motor's at, it's still the same size as the previous model of 1,000 watts. But with a new sine wave controller, it gives you that power a little bit faster. And when flat out, you can hit 33 miles per hour. Now in the settings, there's a few things you can adjust with the power. And you'll want to follow this part because out of the box, they have the top speed set to like 35 kilometers per hour. So to change that, go to AO5, put in 6969, Now you're in the A settings, and then at A3, this is the speed limit setting. You just hit the plus button to go all the way to 100 to unlock the full power. And then in that A menu, you can change the scooter from a 0 to a kickstart. So if you don't like power just right off the bat and you want to give a little scooch, you can do that. The last thing these guys upgraded as far as power was the power for climbing. The old model could climb up to a 10%. This new guy, the V2, can climb up to a 20%. So you got more power. I like that. I've got another overpass, so it's time to stop and talk more about some of the other cosmetic things they've done. And the first is the headlights. In the old model, it was down here just above the front tire, and now it's just below the handlebars. What they found is with the higher up, you just have better visibility. You could say their minds were enlightened. The next one is the charge port. Before it was on the side. This one's placed in the middle. It's nice and protected. The next thing are the tires. The old model just had 10-inch tubeless street tires. The V2 has 10-inch tubeless hybrid tires. Basically, they just put more tread on it so you can take it off-road if you want. One of the biggest upgrades that I feel they did is they added a split rim, which makes it super easy to change the tire, or if your motor ever dies or has a problem, it's very easy to switch that out too. A split rim should be mandatory with every scooter. The next upgrade they did is a structural upgrade, and I'm actually not sure exactly where it's at. I know it's in here somewhere, but this has got a forged cruiser neck. The take home is that it does provide better stability. They've also made this super easy to customize. You can upgrade the brakes, tires, or shocks. That concludes all the upgrades, so there's only one more thing to talk about, and that would be the range. You have an LG 52-volt, 30-amp-hour battery, which is just insane for a scooter that costs $1,500. And like I mentioned before, that battery has a 62-mile range rating. Now, I didn't do a range test. I don't do that anymore because there's just so many variables: weight, temperature, terrain, all of that. But there's a bunch of guys on the YouTubes that have done that. And if you just search this scooter, I bet half of the titles and thumbnails talk about the range. This scooter is known to go and go and go. The only bad thing about the range is that it does take 10 to 12 hours for a full recharge. Okay, so there you have it. I think we covered all the upgrades. As I was prepping for this video, I was actually surprised at how many differences there are between the two models. I think the upgrades justified paying $200 more. But I'm curious to find out what you guys think, so let me know. I've got the link in the description if you want more information. I'll also have a discount code in there to save you a few bucks. And if you want to check out more of these guys, I'll have a review up here somewhere. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.